Good afternoon to my respected teachers and my friends. Our topic is brain tumor classification. What is brain tumor? Brain tumor is a mass or the growth of abnormal cell in our brain. There are so many kinds of brain tumors. Some of them are cancerous or cancerous. This is called the benign. Some of them are not cancerous. This is called malignant. There are three very commonly occurring malignant tumors: gliomas, meningliomas, pituitary adenomas. The treatment differs from each of these types. In our project, we use these three kinds of brain tumors as a data set. And the next, please. The negative predictive value of MRI images is nearly 100%. What is negative predictive value? It defines the proportionality of the number of patients which get the negative results, and but still are not detected for the disease. They are completely disease free. This is called negative predictive value. Next come on the accurate interpretation of MRI is time intensive, and misdiagnosis can be fatal. What is that? If we go through some diagnosis process, it takes too much time. It goes from some bioscopy and another diagnosis process and take too long. But in our project, if a patient can provide his own MRI image, it can quickly get the result that which kind of brain tumor is it. This is the objective of our project, to define which kind of brain tumor is it and classify the brain tumors. And not only the patients, but the doctors can also compare our project and their own diagnosis result for more accurate value. Next please. Yes. Most of you know that there are so many projects done on the brain tumors, but they only classify the tumors malignant or benign. But in our project, we not only classify that the tumor is malignant or benign, but we also identify which type of malignant tumor is it. As we mentioned earlier, that we have three types of malignant tumors in our dataset. Next is the best solution developed are using ensemble classifiers. Yes, this is already developed that the ensemble classifier gives the best kind of solution. What is ensemble classifier? Ensemble classifier is a set of classifier which provide individual decisions to make a proper decision from the by using the several models, and this gives the accurate predictive value without using a single model. In ensemble classifier, we used SVM, supervised learning machine, feed-forward neural network, random forest classifier, etc. But what we innovatively use in our project is we try to transfer learning along with traditional machine learning model. What is transfer learning? Transfer learning is a machine learning technique which get ideas or get stored the knowledge after solving a one particular problem, and use its knowledge to solve the another different but related kind of problem. This is called transfer learning. And unfortunately, we get more accurate predictive value without using ensemble classifier. This is the innovation of our project. Our friends will elaborate what is transfer learning in the upcoming slides. Next. Now I am going to give the chance Nikhil Prabhat to move on the slides. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nikhil Prabhat. Previous slide. Hello. Hello. Praveen, please. Previous slide.
Yes, you are
Which slide do you want?
Four.
audible. You can carry on.
Yep. I have moved to fourth slide. Maybe your network issue.
Oh, okay. So actually, we had already participated in open source deep learning competition, which was organized by Stanford University, and there we had worked on knee MRI detection. Like we had got very good result in that. Like we got almost 80%, which were very close to Andrew and their team. They had got 85%, and we were lagged behind because there we had some hardware issues. Like we didn't have those good amount of hardware at that time. That's why we we got 80%. So actually our model was very good, and as Tithi has already mentioned that we had used transfer learning out there in NeMRI also, and NeMRI also, and yes, so SRC sir had already done the brain tumor project, and in there he had used only 20 images, but out here and there he had done without deep learning also, like, but here we are doing it with almost 3000 images. Praveen, please go to slide 5.
Nikhil, you speak, you talk, then it will be slide will automatically come. You speak on because time is less.
Okay, okay, okay. So right now we have downloaded the dataset from FibShare, which is an open dataset source. So we have downloaded the dataset from here, and we have for the first time only we have used 3064 data. Like T1 weighted contrast enhanced image. There are two type of MRI image. One is T1 and second is T2. T2 is nice comparatively to T1, but we didn't get those pictures. That's why we are using T1 here. So for the first time only, we are using 3064 T1 weighted contrast enhanced images, and out of which we are using 1500 images for training, and 644 images for testing, and 920 images for validation. So next slide, please. So yes, so here we are using CNN. So why CNN? CNN is basically a deep feed-forward artificial neural network, which eases our work too much. Like if we are using, it gives very good result in comparison to machine learning. Like if you use machine learning, then we need to do a lot of pre-processing ourselves manually. But if we use CNN, then we don't need to do that much pre-processing. Like it is done with minimal pre-processing, and since it is trained through back propagation method, that's why it gives very good result. It back propagation helps us to reduce the errors as much low as possible. That's why it gives very good result, and that is why it is a very go-to model for object recognition also. And if we use CNN, then number of images or millions of images, then it won't experience any overfitting problem. So Praveen will carry forward from here. Thank you.
Okay. Hello everyone. So I will tell you why we have selected AlexNet. Before that, I must tell you why we have selected transfer learning. As my friends mentioned, that in the previous semester we participated in the Stanford Open Dataset competition, and which was our project as well. And we there the Stanford professor Andrew Nag supported transfer learning, and all the participants used transfer learning, and all the results were all the results showed good accuracies. And the main thing is they don't used segmentation in normal MRI diagnosis. In normal machine learning for medical images, segmentation is very important part. But in all the transfer learning that all the participants showed there, no segmentation was needed. So that's why transfer learning they have chosen and we have choose as well. But in that competition, we have choose one transfer learning model, AlexNet, and these are the reasons why we preferred AlexNet there, and we are preferring it here as well. The first thing is it has multiple GPUs. So what is the benefit of having multiple GPUs is that you can have half of the neurons running on one GPU and the other half running on another GPU. So there are two benefits. You can train bigger models, and along with that you have a less training time. And the next feature is overlapped pooling. As you know that in earlier CNN, in traditional CNN, pooling is not overlapped. You just have a filter which you have a kernel which keeps moving without overlapping. But when overlapping was introduced in the ImageNet competition, then it was shown that it reduced the loss by 5% and increases the accuracy. So overlapping is introduced in AlexNet, and this gives better accuracy. And for this in history's context, there was a contest named ImageNet, which was a competition where image classification done, and AlexNet came into picture through that competition, and it also shows best result on small data set like CIFAR 10. So I will tell you the approach that we have followed, and uh, all the medical MRIs usually follow this approach. So first thing is median filtering, which is removing the salt and paper noise from the data set. Then scaling and standardization is done, which means that scaling every images down or up to a specific size. And here in our case, along with scaling, uh, we actually have DICOM images, but our model needs regular images which are 8-bit representation, which means that their pixel values lies from 0 to 255. But in DICOM images, they are 16-bit images, so value lies from 0 to 2 to the power 16. So we need to scale it down. So we just change it to unit 8. So that was done in the scaling process of ours. And standardization is we use scalar standardization, means the STD value of all the distribution will be one from the mean. Then segmentation is done, which means dividing the image into small significant parts. We have used both ensemble and we have used ensemble for comparison purpose only, and we have used our AlexNet model. Segmentation is only needed for the ensemble model that we have adopted, and for AlexNet it is done automatically by the layer itself. And then training, testing, validation is done. For training, we have used cross entropy loss, and we have used Adam optimizer, and then we have just moved to the results. Now this is the AlexNet architecture. It has 8 layers. There are 5 convolution layers and 3 fully connected layers. So this is the visual representation. These are the convolution layers, and these are the 3 fully connected layers. Actually, you have to change these layers according to these last layers only to according to your data set, which we have done as well. And
Okay,
that part
can
is
you
the,
come to your model? Can you just go to your model? Hello?
yeah, this is
Yeah.
ours. This is
Uh,
ours.
yeah, just come to your, these are the introduction parts, so it's focus on your work, okay?
Okay,
Carry on.
okay,
Carry
okay,
on.
ma'am. So this is the thing that we have done. We have first changed the AlexNet representation according to our data set. We have added a different fully connected layers with our tuned hyperparameters, and these are the results that we have achieved. So this is our model. So we have achieved a 90% accuracy, and since accuracy is not a very good measure for deep learning or machine learning as well, so we have calculated precision, recall, and FN scores. You can see the results of all the pituitary tumor, glioma, and meningiomas. We have precision of around 90%. Recall precision is less, around 85% in one class, and it is around 90 in both of them. And same is the case for recall and F1 score. So that's about our model. So the comparison with the previous ones, these are the state of the art ensemble classifiers. And when we tested in this data set, it has very low accuracy according to our, it is around 67 to 76%. So this type of work hasn't been done earlier, but the ensemble classifier has been used to classify malignant or just benign. So we just applied their approach in this, and that didn't give good results, and our model is giving 90% accuracy. So that's about the results. Now I will hand it over
What are
to
the
Shubham.
columns? What are the different columns here? Different
Oh, okay,
kind
okay,
of
okay.
kind of.
These 3 columns are the classes of tumors: meningiomas,
Okay.
glioma, and
Okay.
pituitary tumor. And these are the.
Okay.
So Shubham, you
No,
can take it over. Okay, okay. Do you have a question, ma'am?
no, it's okay. Carry on. I'll ask later.
Okay, okay. Shubham, you can take it over from here.
Shubham, unmute yourself. Shubham,
Shubham,
Shubham, unmute. Yeah.
Hello, this is Om Srivastava. Good afternoon. And basically, the language we used in this project are Python, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The tools we used are Google Colab and Octave. And the frameworks we used are the Flask and the Torch. And the platforms we use are Heroku. Next slide, please. And the question is, what is the future scope of our project? Yeah, we can try to see results of our model on different types of MRIs, and also we can create an interface where user can train their own images and analyze their result. So basically, this is the features of our project.
we are also
Thank you.
planning to, we are also presenting our research in an international journal and convocation the, along with Asarsi sir. So that's all about our presentation. Shall we move on to the demonstration?
Yes, we go ahead. Demonstration, please go ahead. Demonstration, please go ahead. Praveen,
Okay,
quickly.
Tithi, you can carry on. Tithi,
My screen is visible.
Yes, yes.
yes, visible. Go
Yes,
on.
visible. Go ahead.
Okay. First I'm going to show you my code on feed-forward neural network. Uh,
Titi, the code explanation is not needed that way. You straightway show the
okay, no.
result.
First I'm showing how the pre-processing I have done. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, no. There is no need of elaboration.
Yes,
Here
yes.
I'm load my data set, and this
What is the size of your data set?
Ma'am, 3064.
Hello. How many?
as median filter. Gaussian filter is a
3000.
linear. Hello.
I can't hear.
Um,
Ma'am, there were around
Everyone
3,000
is here.
images as we have shown in the PPT. There were
Hmm.
3,064 images, 1,500 in training, 644 in testing, and 920 in validation.
Okay.
Okay, Tithi, you can carry
Okay.
on.
So how you have addressed the overfitting problem?
Okay, for
May I?
overfitting, we just okay. Uh, Tithi, you can hold on for a second. For overfitting, what I did is we just used early stopping, and AlexNet takes care of that. We are just using the testing set for early stopping, and when we
Hmm.
have the lowest errors, it saves that model.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, one
Tithi,
suggestion
carry
I
on.
have, this is a very good work
Okay.
that you have done. One suggestion is that you are saying that the CNN is giving you a better result. I understand it should be. But if you could have given the value, like how it is improving the accuracy, if you could have compared the value, that would have been better. Okay, that you can
Um,
think, like,
yes, ma'am, that is a good suggestion. But the problem we had that no other works were done for these particular classes. So we only had works done for benign and malignant tumors, but for specific malignant tumors, no work had been done. So we did comparison with the work done for malignant as well. Tithi implemented their entire procedure, and we just compared the results on our data set using their model with our model.
Okay, that's good. You have done a good work. It's a new thing you have implemented. Deep learning part you have, but the thing is that you are claiming that this is good. If you have compared it
Yes.
with a traditional one, that would have been a better thing. That's someone's suggestion. How it is how the results are better, that could have been shown. Okay, so are you getting my point?
Yes, ma'am. We have implemented a
Okay.
traditional model as well. If you are saying that.
But is the results improving? That value is there with you? Like how the
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
improvement?
ma'am.
How
I
much the
showed in the
improvement? What is the
presentation.
percentage?
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
I showed in the
okay.
presentation. Let me show you again if you want.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Uh,
show me the value.
okay. 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 So where is that? So this is our model, and these are the previous models. The ensemble ones developed using random forest. In this data set, you it gives 76. These are the results.
It's not
These
showing.
are
The
good for.
presentation is not showing.
Okay.
Presentation is not coming on the screen.
Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. Is nobody able to see my screen?
No.
No, no.
First,
Okay. Wait a minute.
I can see, but it is in a corner.
yes, this time it should come.
Okay. Okay. So this is our result, which you had seen, and these are the previous result, which Tithi implemented. So these are the state of the art models. The ensemble one.
Okay, okay, okay. Now I got it. So it's a this
Okay.
not but comparison you have not put in a single slide. That's why I just miss it. Okay. Anyway, thank you. And
Okay.
how it is improving? How the results are
Oh,
improving?
so
What
these
is the
are
how much?
so
So for the random
let's
forest it is 76. Okay. And then Alexa
our
is
model. This is
90%.
our model.
So okay. But don't you think that that can be there can be an overfitting problem for because 90% is quite a high value, right?
Our
Have you tried?
yes, ma'am. That could be an overfitting problem, but we solve. We have addressed that with early stopping, so we don't think that would be an issue. And our okay in our in my okay. Let me show you here. This is the result. So in most of the confusion matrix, we have just arrive at true positives. And if it were overfitting, then precision, recall, and FN scores would not be better. Accuracy is, I agree, that is not a very valid measure for.
Valid
Uh,
nature.
yes. So
Yeah, the
so
precision
so
recurrent
that's why
F1
this is
score is better result,
better.
right?
Yes.
Right.
So and basically the previous models are good for only differentiating between malignant or benign tumor, but if we just go down to further single classes, then those shallow learning models are not very not giving very satisfactory
Yeah,
results.
definitely. Always deep learning will give you a better result.
Yeah.
It's true. Okay.
Okay, so Tithi, you can continue if you're.
You leave your presentation.
Yeah.
Chakor,
Tithi, you can start now.
Is it visible?
yes,
Yes.
Is it my screen is visible?
yes, visible, visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, okay.
Yes, it is visible. Continue.
Okay, so as I mentioned that I use median filter, then use Gaussian filter for get the result, and with clustering I use the K-means cluster for segmentation, and then I use the local binary pattern, and also use some histogram for get the features. And for feature extraction, I use GLCM gray matrix for the spatial relationship and the pair of the pixel, how often the pair of pixels are generated in a particular direction. This gives the result of the gray matrix. from this I get the features of energy, contrast, homogeneity, correlation, dissimilarity or a scheme. And using the binary pattern, local binary pattern, I get the energy and the LTP entropy. And after using Gabor filter, and we get the Gabor energy and entropy. These are the 10 features we have extracted. After using features extraction, I get this. After pre-processing this, I get these matrices. These are the matrices. We have the features matrices, and I convert it into the data frame and store it. After that, I use feed-forward neural network. This is our traditional neural network model. This is the feature.
Tithi, I'm just
Yes, ma'am.
interrupting you. I'm not able to see any. Are you presenting your screen or something? Because I'm not able to see.
I also am not able to see anything. It's a black screen.
No one able to see my screen.
I think so.
I am able to see.
Yeah,
I could have.
I'm not. I'm not.
I'm also not. Then
Okay,
maybe
Tithi, you
thing-
can just stop and do
Yeah,
again.
do again, or you may go out and come again, and Praveen take over from this. Tithi, you may join again, or you
no.
start
You can stop. Like whoever is presenting, you can stop presenting and again
again.
start sharing your screen. That can also help.
Tithi, please do this.
So I'm start from the beginning.
No, not beginning.
No,
Who is
just
presenting
stop.
the
No, don't from the beginning. No, no, no.
No,
And
no.
Tithi, an explanation of code is not needed. You just run the thing and I will see the result.
Tithi, are you
The code explanation is not needed. Okay.
Are you presenting the screen,
Okay.
Tithi?
Yes, ma'am. I'm presenting
So
the
you do
screen.
one thing. You
But
stop your
some-
presentation. You stop your presentation. You again start your presentation. You can. If see that can
Okay,
help.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Now you again start presenting.
Okay, okay.
Yes,
Is my screen
it's visible.
visible now?
Yes,
Okay,
it's
ma'am.
visible.
Uh, as I've already showed you that this is the features matrices I have after I get it after pre-processing. This is the 3064 dataset, and I convert it into the data frame. After that, I divide is the training and testing part and shuffle my dataset. And this is the feed-forward neural network, my model. You can show it, and you can find that I trained our model and fit it into the model. And these are the epochs. I have used 200 epochs, and each loss is shown here. And after that, I use the train model, and I got the accuracy around 39%. This is not too much. I can say this. After that, I use some other model. This is a features matrices, as you know, I already said. And is a training and testing part, and fit the model. I use SVM. You can see this linear SVC is used and fit by my model. And this is my accuracy, 67%. And these are the all the precision score and recall score, F1 score. This, you can see this. After that, I use random forest classifier. I put our dataset into the model, and I get the accuracy around 76%. And these are all the precision score, recall score, and F1 score. That's all. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Now I give the chance to report and
Good work.
So from here, I would like to present my.
The time is up already. Half an hour is done. So just finish it off now. Okay.
Okay, ma'am, I'll do it.
Already half an hour is. Okay. It was 15 minutes for presentation. So just
So,
finish.
so my team has already identified that which type of tumor it is, and out of three types of tumor, which type of tumor it is. So my work was to visualize like where the tumor actually lies. So that's why for this purpose I have used Octave, which is a very good tool which helps in image processing. So I have used here Octave, and let me show you the output. Like I have already kept some images here. So these are the MRI images of brain tumor. So I have chosen any random pick like this. So this is the output. Like image before processing is here, and this is the tumor that we can clearly see out here. And I have actually used thresholding here so that I could filter out the tumor. That's why I've used binary thresholding here. And here, after the processing of image, I have actually encircled the tumor so that we could clearly see the tumor is detected. And we can actually test it on other images also. So like here it is for another image. Like here it is the tumor and it is detected out here, and this is the image after processing. So for this purpose I have used okay. So what I'm actually doing here. So let me take a look. So what I'm actually doing out here, we can say there are some groups of brain, and here is the tumor. So the density of tumor is more than density of the brain. So this I'm using here to so that and with the help of binary thresholding, I could separate out the tumor out here, and not just the tumor, all the areas where there could be the chances of tumor. So here I am trying to this solution that I've used, and I have tried to filter out all the vulnerable portions where I could find the tumor, and after that, for I have labeled it all the I have got around for different images. I'll be getting different levels also. Like if I can for Vibram picture, I have got 32 portions. So if when I tested on Vibram, so I've got 32 regions. So for all the regions, I'm getting the solidity and area. Solidity is nothing but the density. So for all the regions, I'm getting solidity and area. As I had already mentioned that my algorithm is to find the density greater than the density of the brain. So this is why my solidity and also like
Nikhil, your voice is cracking.
can
Yeah, nothing is
okay.
audible. Yeah, some
Okay, then
network connectivity
Nikhil, stop. I
problem is
will.
there.
Uh,
Okay,
okay,
okay.
while he resolves, I will take it over.
Yeah, whosoever
I
can
think
okay,
I think we understand what you have done. I think we have understand what you have
Okay.
done. We can,
Okay.
if anyone have any question, you can ask, or
So
we
Praveen,
can stop here.
Can you tell me
Okay. Okay. Oh yes.
mentioned that in your model architecture you have changed some layer, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes. Yes.
so is there any technique or method you adopt that the changing of layer gives you better result? Because
Yeah.
your data set, if your data set is changed, is the changed layer give you the optimal result?
No, sir. Not always. We have to always change those layers according to the data set. And the method we used is the normal method that is used to solve such problems. That is hyperparameter tuning. So what we do is we just add some layers and we change the hyperparameters unless we get the satisfactory results. If you can see
Does
my
it means you are just swapping some layers or adding?
no, we are just adding more layers and
Okay,
basically changing the number of neurons.
okay, okay. Anyway, it is a very good project, I think, and thank you.
Okay, sir.
Praveen, show
Praveen,
your
You all
on
can
the
front end.
leave.
website.
Okay?
Yeah, they have already front end. Praveen,
You all
can
can
you show
leave.
front
All
end?
the best.
Now,
Okay.
Praveen want to share some front end they have developed. Yes, please show it.
Okay. So
Yeah,
this
please.
I will won't take much time. I will just. So this is the image that thresholding Nikhil has done, and this determines the type of tumors and the features that needed for that Tithi had done. So if you want to need, so that's basically all about it. Okay, so I'm done.
Okay.
So shall we call the next
Hello.
group? If anybody
Yeah.
has no further
Yes,
questions.
yes. No, I think they have done a good job. Okay. All the best. Stay safe.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay,
And you
see,
can leave the meeting.
So Kaushali,